Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into something a little different, a 100% vanilla build in CS2. So no mods, no custom assets, and I'm still pretty new to CS2, so learning all of its quirks. So I'm bringing you along for the entire build process. You'll see every road placement, every zone and every design choice I make. Follow along and see how I approach it, and let me know in the comments what you would do differently. So here we are in the Sunshine Peninsula map. I think this is a nice map to start out with, enough buildable area, enough buildable land for us to make a very nice city. What I do want to do is start with the terraforming. I saw this small river flowing here, which is in our starting tile, so I thought that would be a great place to start off our build. And yeah, what I also noticed is that terraforming is free, so I will start with terraforming. I'm not sure if I'm doing it a little bit too low. I think I am, so I'm going to make sure this is a little bit higher. I do like the brush, so you can just type in the height you want and start terraforming. And the thing I wanted to say is that it is also great that terraforming is free. So we can do whatever we want without financial consequences with it, which is obviously, well, great for us. So we can make the map a little bit more of our own. Is it realistic? No, not really. Do we mind? Also, no, not really. So I think what I want to do is make sure we have a nice area along the water we can start our first nice houses with. And what I love to do is make sure we have a nice straight road going parallel to the water. And let's make sure so that we have a nice straight terrain here, which is also a little bit eyeballing it. Oh, let me just, there we go. And like I said, what I want to have in this series is an unmodded experience for everyone to follow along. So I will try to show as much what I am doing and make sure that it is worth following, or you guys are able to follow it and build the same thing I am building if you are into that. And if you're not, you can just look at some ideas and see how that goes. Like I said, I am new to the game, so I am also figuring out what we can do. So that is quite nice. Let's see if we can build a... I found this one, the medium key with two-way roads, which is great. And I'm looking at the percentages on the map. As you can see, we have a 1% gradient going a little bit, so I'm not sure if we can make that a little less than 1%, 1.82. Yeah, let's see if we can make it keep it at 1. And this is not really what we had in mind, but let me just draw in this street. So what is good to know, I just looked at it, and you can see the semicircles on the right side. When they go away, you don't have any building options on the right side anymore, which means it turns into a bridge part, which we have right here, and it's not what we want. So we are going to use our terrain tool again and make sure that we have enough coastal area to have this road follow along. And I think this should do it. So there we go. That's one of the tips always. If you are starting a new section of your city, make sure you have your terraforming done beforehand, so it makes it a lot easier. And this is minus 0.5%, which is fine. And well, we can make a little bend in this road and continue on a little farther. And let's make sure we do have it 0.8 in the plus. That's fine because we went down a little bit on the other side as well. And a nice 0.0. That is perfect. So what we also want to do is have a clean building area. At least that's what I prefer. And am I happy with this? It isn't the best, but we can live with that for now. What I want is a clean building area. So what I'm going to do is see if we have a tool to get rid of those. Yeah, using the bulldozer is a little bit too tedious for me, but we do have the vegetation and we do have the place multiple. And what I noticed is that there is an erase button, but looking at it, it doesn't really erase anything. That is weird. So let's just erase these manually. Well, it seems getting rid of those trees is a little bit more difficult than I expected, but no, not to worry, we can build with this very nicely. We have a very high road here, so we're going to fix that. So there we go, flattened out the terrain, our first spot to build a small area. And let's make sure we are going to be able to get our roads up here by softening the terrain. And by softening the terrain, we're making a nice little slope right here, which allows us to drag that road up in a nice, not too steep gradient. And of course, before we do that, let's see if we, well, let's just start with building the roads in first. And I think what I'm going to be doing is making sure that we have a small village area right here, and later we can expand to this big area over here. But for now, let's start small and make sure that we have a nice curve going up and follow along the edges here. And I think a 5% gradient is quite fine, and that looks great. What I want is have this go alongside of the edges here, and make sure that it's perpendicular to our placed keys, which we can do by placing down a small road to make sure we have a sort of road guideline. I think we had it already, but this makes it a perfect 90-degree angle. Because what we want to do is start off with a small grid. Like I said, I'm not very familiar with the building of this City Skylines 2, but what I do know from experience in City Skylines 1 is without a move it mod, things can get pretty ugly pretty fast if we don't build in nice grids or if we don't have the right buildings or tools available to build it very nicely. And since we are doing this unmodded, obviously we are going to follow along with the milestones and the development tools. So that is how we are going to start. Yeah, let me just fill this in with a nice grid pattern. What I would like is to have a grid that is a little bit broader than the usual. So For now, I am not using the built-in tool for that. As you can see right here, we do have a grid possibility, but I want my grids to be a little bit different than the grids we have from that. This one is a little bit smaller, this one is a little bit bigger, but we can use different sizes to get different buildings in, and this doesn't seem, well, our grid is broken up a little bit here. Let's see if we can fix that by building it like this. It's not too bad, but like I said, if you don't build your grids perfectly, then they can become ugly pretty fast. And yeah, it seems like we don't have a perfect grid already. For this isn't too bad. I'm just going to connect it up here, and this one is going in a straight 180 right until it merges. No, let's not merge it down there. All right. Of course, we have a somewhat 4-lane road here. What I want is to have that continue here. Let's make that a sort of, let's see if we can make sure that this road is a nice 4-lane road as well. And if you look at this, it shifts a little bit to either side. Let's make it like this and make sure our 4-lane road continues on. So what we can do is make sure that one part of town is more focused on the residential side of things, and the other part is a little bit more focused on commercial. So we have a sort of commercial corridor alongside here, and let's make sure we have a little bit more space to build here. There we go. And let me just build out this a little further. Well, there we have our first grid system. It isn't perfect, like you can see here, but let's not have perfect be the enemy of good. We can fill up those gaps or whatever we have left with some nice bushes, detailing, and whatnot. Of course, we need to think about our first city services as well. So I think we do need to start with a power plant. And for the power plant, we have several options. I think we do have the small coal power plant, which is $5,000 to $15,000 a month, and it gives us about 20 megawatts of energy. And if we look at the wind turbines, it seems that the most cost-effective is this coal power plant, which we are going to place. I see there is already a power line coming in here, which means we can trade the power as well. But let's not do that for now. Let's just make sure we have our own power. And of course we can, perhaps we can sell our power if we need to, or just make sure we place down or lower our budget. And I think if we want to connect the power station up to the power grid here, we are going to need to place it like this and not on the edge of the map. So we still have the option of connecting it up and selling our energy outward. And the next thing we need to do is placing down our water tower. And I am not really sure how much the power plant already uses, so let's take a look at that. Consumption still is at 0, but I Yeah, oh, there we go. It already went up to 15,000 cubic meters a month, which makes me believe we don't really have enough by just building down. This one has 75,000, but this extracts water from water deposits, which I think can be depleted. So we're not going to fiddle around with that. We're just going to use this one, 30,000 cubic meters a month for a lot of upkeep, but we will be profitable quite fast enough, I hope. And of course, it does make sense if we place a water tower high up. So let's make sure our water tower is placed here. It can be upgraded with a viewing deck, which is nice. We're not going to do that straight away, because that is costly money, and the money we do need that. And there we go. First water tower as well. And something I am not very used to placing down anymore, which is a sewage outlet. In City Skylines 1, I think we have the Green Cities DLC, which provides us with the inland water treatment plant. And I do like that very much. I don't need to waste space for placing down poop in the... And this one I'm going to... yeah, let's... Need to twist and turn a little bit. It's not on the shoreline. I think it needs to be right there. There we go. It makes our poop water go straight down into our small river. But I do assume, this being in the end of it, that there is some sort of spring here, and the water is going downstream, so our poop is going the right way as well. I'm not sure if I can see that here. Oh, there we go. Our sewage outlet, obviously it is going straight into the sea, which is nice. Now, let's not forget to... It is, of course, screaming for water, which we already have provided. And yeah, let's press play for now, and not too fast, and let's start by zoning down our first buildings. We do have a lot of options here. We have the EU low-density housing and the North American low-density housing, and all of the content creator packs as well. And what I do like to do is just start off with the base game. So we are going to select the base game and select the North American low-density housing. And we are not going to fill this in from back to back, because we do want to leave some space behind these houses for some pathways, some trees, and some bushes, and of course on the other side as well. So on both sides we are going to leave some room for bushes and stuff. And let's see if we can switch it up a little bit by doing it the other way around on the other sides here, and have some pathways in between as well, or some space for pathways. And there we go. And our first people are moving in already. And it seems we have zoned enough houses already, so they are screaming for industry and of course for our commercial places. What I like is not zoning directly on this road, and I'm not sure if what I'm going to do now is a great idea for, but this is of course a low, well, not an area where we have a lot of traffic in the future, I hope. So we're just placing down some alleyways with which we can zone some shops to, and yeah, they're not directly on the 4-lane road. And there we go. And let's use this area for some businesses. I don't really know how they look, so we're just going to place down some of those in. What I think is that what makes sense is for the North American businesses to be packed with a lot of parking spaces, and the European ones not so much, at least. That's what I hope, but we'll see what grows in, and let's be surprised by what the game has to offer. And while we are doing that, we are making sure that this area has enough commercial availability here as well, and we're leaving some spaces open here for the occasional pathway, perhaps a plaza. And there it is. We do have our first milestone unlocked, which is fabulous. Let's see, in the progression panel, we already have some new signature buildings. We're going to look at those in a later stage, because for now, let's focus on getting the milestones. And we have some extra map tiles. We can see the city budget, taxation, statistics, some medium density row housing. That is exactly what we want. Some extra symmetrical roads. And of course, City Skylines 2 works a little bit differently than City Skylines 1. So we do have our development points unlocked, and we can spend it on different kind of upgrades. I am very happy to have parks and recreation services, but they are all only in Milestone 4. So we'll have to wait for a next episode to get those in. But I'm going to save our first progression points for the next episodes, because first we want to see what we can get. And if you're looking at the demands, then we can see we have some industrial demands, and I'm just going to fill those in near our power plant, so we can make sure that the pollution stays on this part of town. I'm not sure if that is going to be a traffic nightmare, because all of our citizens are going to have to commute from over here to over here, but that is a concern for a next time. And as we can see, we already have some demand in for medium residential zoning, but I am not really too happy with how this part turned out, so I am going to fix this road and make sure it's one straight road. And me fixing this road gives me a little bit of time to tell you it has been 20 minutes and you're still here, so I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe or a comment for the algorithm. It helps me quite a lot. Thank you very much. So there we go. This is much better. It isn't perfect still, but that is okay, because I see we do have a little bit. See, there we go. So we'll just zone this off and make sure we have a sort of small park right there. But of course, now we do have these this waterfront available to us, which is going to be a great place for some waterfront housing. And let's see if we, like I saw, we do have some waterfront housing available. Let's see where they are. But I think they are the only low density. So I think there is our medium density housing and our North American medium density housing. So what I love is, or what I think is great, is if we have some medium density housing alongside of the water, and we'll leave some space there as well, like we usually do, and make sure that there's enough room to build those. There we go. So those are the North American medium density row housing, and I think they will look quite great alongside the water line, but yeah, we'll be surprised. Let's see what is going to be built in. And already this looks great to me. And let's keep building, because we do have some more low density demand. And let's place down all those from the base game. There we go. the North American low-density housing. And let's make sure that we have that built on this side of the road. And I think they are going to build on the beach street. Yes, they are. That is fine. And let's start to fill in this as well. And behind here as well. There we go. So I think we have fulfilled a lot of demand as well. And let's see what we can do with our next milestone, which is coming up quite quickly now. Production panel, a lot of extra medium density housing. But let's start with placing down some more roads around our power plant for some extra industry. There we go. And let's just blanket fill this in. There we go. So our demands have been fulfilled. In the meantime, we did progress to our next milestone, which leaves the medical clinic. Obviously, we do have some healthcare and death care, and also a landfill that we can place down. I'm not sure how necessary it is to start using the landfill already. Let's just wait until they till they complain about it. And the same is for death care. But obviously, I do want to start thinking about healthcare, which is obviously a quite important part of the well-being of our citizens. And I think I am going to expand our small plateau here ever so slightly, because we do need a little bit more space to build. And we are going to make sure that, that we have everything this small community needs before we build on the lower side of the terrain. And let's make sure our entry road is a nice bottleneck. There we go. So I think this is a nice corridor here for some service buildings, so we can place down some more residential buildings on the other side of the road. And I think we are going to start by doing that as well. So let me just fill in this area. So there we go. This has filled in quite nicely as well. And let's take a look at what our city did here on the waterfront. It seems like we do have some smaller houses popping in. And let's see if we can fix that so we can have a nice looking waterfront. There we go. And let's see what builds in here as well. So let's remove all of these smaller buildings and play a little bit of a building whack-a-mole here. And see what fills in, and we'll just keep doing that until we have a nice build alongside of the waterfront. All right. Like I said, we are going to use this area for some service buildings, and I have already placed down a another alleyway right here. So let's see what medical clinics we do have. We have a small medical clinic and a modern medical clinic. I think basic healthcare for a small area, for a small community. Let's just go with the small medical clinic right here. And I'm not sure if I can see if there are upgrades available, but let's just plop it down over here. If so, I don't think there are upgrades available, but we can always replace or reassign that building to another area. I think our city is developing quite nicely, and there is again some demand for medium density housing. And I do like these buildings right here, and of course they look great alongside of the waterfront. So let's make sure we have a pathway on the back of these roads, houses I mean, so our citizens can get to their houses from behind there. They can enter the backyards from behind. There we go. That looks great. And this opens up some options to fill in this area with some more medium density housing. I'm not selecting those. So there we go. Medium density row housing. I think they fit in quite nicely here. And let's fill it up. Let's not fill it up like this. Well, that's on me, I guess. Or zoning it like this. There we go. And while we wait for our houses to get built, let's take some time to detail a little bit while we do wait. And while I am going to start detailing, I had started a little bit, I am going to explain a little bit what I'm doing, because what I noticed is that we have the surfaces option, so I can build a concrete surface here, and I have some other options as well. So let's see if we can make a small area right here where our citizens can do whatever. This looks quite nice, but I am not going to fill in this entire area with the same textures, because what I want is some sand as well in between, because what I also noticed is we have some residential props available. So let me just place down some of those, and I think it is only fitting for this area to have a small playground, and small playgrounds are always are quite okay, quite nice when they are built in sand, so our kids won't fall and hurt themselves. I thought I saw some sandboxes here as well, and I am really missing my, oh, there we go, sandbox. I think the sandbox can be placed on the concrete as well, because they are obviously playing in the sandbox. Yeah, let me just finish this up. And I see we have unlocked our second milestone. So let's see what we have unlocked. New signature building, of course, and medium density housing for some of the packs, the French, the Japanese, etc. And we do have some education available as well. So I think we are going to continue this small area, and then we are going to start with the education area. So there we go. I think we have spent a lot of time or enough time on this small playground area in between our houses. And excuse me, I see we have already started making money, which is great. And our demands have been going up steadily. So I see we have some demand for hers or herses. Not sure how to pronounce it correctly. But also we do have the education available. So let's turn our attention to making sure our citizens have some place to get buried and of course get educated. So what I do like is our cemetery to be placed in sort of a woody area, woodland area, and I thought about placing it on top of this hill first, but it doesn't really make sense with that water tower next to it. So we'll just make sure we have our own small spot on the other side of this hill. And I'm not sure if that is a wise decision looking at the game mechanics, because all these buildings do have some some well-being within 300 meters, some indoor recreation I see. But yeah, let's make sure that the deceased have some privacy as well. So let's make sure our building can be placed a little bit over here. There we go. And what I do like to do is have that with a small gravel road leading up to that. And I'm going to make sure our gravel road cuts alongside of the edges here. And let's see if we need to straighten it out first before we place down our cemetery. There we go. This is a great looking cemetery. They do have path access here, it seems, which is nice. I do like this asset. There we go. It's a little bit too modern for me, I think. Let's see if we do have another one. This one is the UK Parish Church, and the regular cemetery is quite large. So no, I think this one fits here. And let's place down some more trees in the surrounding neighborhood. Oh, there we go. The vegetation. Let's make sure this isn't fully up. And let's just paint a little bit of those trees in. And we have some alders here around as well, I think. Let's use those as well. There we go. A nice forest-like enclosed part of town where our cemetery is. That looks great. Now for our next placement, which is, of course, said it a couple of times, the school areas. And I think I want to build it off of a small alleyway as well here. And let's make sure we have some connectivity here as well. And let's place down one of the schools. Let's start with our base game first and see what we need, what we have. A small elementary school, a city elementary school, a high school already. Let's start with a small elementary school. And let's see what kind of upgrades we have here. We do have an extension wing, which fits nicely within this area. I see it is 3 blocks wide, so we can't place it here anymore. But that is fine. We do have enough space here for placing that down as well. So let's do that. It isn't really necessary just yet, but that doesn't really matter for now. We can turn it off if we want to, if it costs us too much money. So let's do that for now. And of course, there we go. It looks awesome. All right. It seems our time is going way faster than I hoped. So let's finish a little bit on the bright side here. We are going to fill in some more pathways here. And I hope doing it like this in the middle of the of our, yeah, I wanted to say in the middle of our nodes, or however do we call it. I hope we do have some space left for trees. And I see this building really didn't like me placing down a path there, but that's okay. And let's unpause the game and keep just filling in these pathways. I'm not going to put down a pedestrian crossing everywhere. That was an autosave. There we go. It's a very long pathway. And let's see if we can place this down. There we go. Behind these buildings as well. And there we go. Yeah, I do like to leave, like I said, a lot of space in between our buildings, just to place down the trees and make sure everything looks a little bit better. So I will place down some trees and I will see you in a little bit. So there we go. We have put down a lot of trees and some small playgrounds as well. I think within the residential areas, it's only fitting to have these kind of spaces where people can sit, kids can play, like here, get a newspaper, or whatever they want. And of course, we are not yet done, but I think this is for the next episode. We have this small elementary school here, which of course is well, it is nice, but it's kind of dull here as well. So we're going to fix that. We do have a lot of space alongside of these roads to do something nice here as well. And perhaps we need to start thinking about our bicycle infrastructure. As you might know, I sound a little bit Dutch because that's what I am, and we do love our bicycles. So, yeah, I think this is it for now. And I think we have made a great step, and I hope to see you very soon in our next episode. Thank you for watching.